What's up, everybody? Nick here. This video is not gonna be anything pretty or anything like overly special or spectacular. This is just my thoughts and feelings about everything that's been going on lately. A lot of people have been reaching out, asking for my thoughts and asking for my feelings and asking for my opinions. So I've been very emotional lately, just in terms of everything that's going on. So I've taken the time to gather my thoughts. I've taken the time to type up my thoughts, and I have taken the time to kind of sort through my thoughts. And so now I'm going to express my thoughts on how I've been feeling about everything. I have seen a lot of social media as our country has gone through this state of transition. But one thing that I have failed to really genuinely see is some solid solutions. From where I stand, I see a lot of people that are looking at a lot of people and are looking for solutions. John F. Kennedy once said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." So I'm here today with my thoughts on what I believe solutions can be for the state of the world that we live in today. I believe in plans over posts, and I believe in protest towards progress. Before I get to my solutions, let's start with a few facts. We are in pain. We are hurting. We are tired of our screams falling on deaf ears. We are tired of our brothers, our sisters, our fathers, our mothers, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandmas, grandpas, family, and friends having their lives disregarded. We are tired of living in fear. Fear that we can't go jogging, fear that we can't walk home, fear that we can't survive being pulled over. It's exhausting. I'm exhausted. And I live in a safe and very privileged community, but I'm exhausted as well. There's this pain that we have, and there's this pain that we carry. And I believe it's a generational pain. It's been passed down to us generation after generation. And you can see it. There's a phrase, hurt people hurt people. And I don't say that to justify anyone's actions, but I believe it's very much a truth. Hurt people who have not healed are going to hurt people. And so a lot of people have been asking lately, I've seen, when does this stop? Or what is it going to take? Or when is this pain going to stop? When is this hurt going to stop? People are asking all those questions. The pain stops when we start healing, and the hurting stops when we start healing. We have a generational pain. All of us, every race, every gender, every background. And we need to recognize that some of our generational pain is also going to take generational healing. Right now, we look at the police force, men and women who risk their lives for us each and every day to serve and protect our communities. Their job is to protect and to serve. And we see that within that system, there are individuals who have failed to uphold that code. And we have seen that those individuals are not limited to one state or one force. It's nationwide. And one thing I see a lot of is that everybody loves to use the analogy, a few bad apples. I agree. There are a few bad apples. And I also believe that for every 5 dirty cops, I believe that there are 50 more who do the right thing. I've had the privilege of growing up in an environment where I've had positive interaction with law enforcement. But here's where the issue falls when it comes to just a few bad apples. Let's say you go to the store and buy a case of apples. You take them home and you find a few bad apples in the case. Chances are you might be a little bummed. However, you appreciate the good apples and you carry on with your day. A week or 2 later, you make the same purchase from the store. Again, your case of apples has a few bad apples in it. And again, you're bummed, but you carry on with your day. A week or 2 later, you make the same purchase. And again, there are a few bad apples. At this point, you start talking to your neighbors about it. A few of them are having the same issue. A few of them aren't. Some of the ones that aren't having that issue are still supportive of your experience. They see what has happened to you, because they are accepting that your reality and your experience is different from theirs. Sadly, you have other neighbors, and since it hasn't happened to them, they are neglecting your reality because it doesn't match up with their own. A week or two later, you make the same purchase, and again, you find a few bad apples. You tell the store, "Hey, I keep getting a few bad apples in each batch. Can you do something about this?" The store assures you that they will take care of the issue, and you trust them to do what is right. A few weeks later, same purchase, same problem. You tell the store again about this issue. They keep insisting they will do something about the problem. You trust them because you should be able to trust them. You tell your neighbors, same deal as last time. Some are having the same experiences. Some are not having any issues with the apples, but they understand that you are, and so they are also helping you contact the store to help you. They understand that everyone should be able to receive the same honest product. Some neighbors aren't having the same experience, and they are not helping to support you at all. A week or two later, another case, another handful of bad apples. At this point, you take your place outside the store. You take a knee, or you hold a sign, or you have a march, and you demand that a change is made. Are all the apples bad? No. And are you aware of that? Yes, of course you are aware of that. But at this point, you are exhausted over your constant bad apples and over constantly telling the store about your issue and seeing no results. At this point, you're ready to throw away the entire box. Not because all of the apples are bad, but because the risk is still there. You are exhausted at what seems like the same problem happening over and over again without any hope in sight. You have this fear of the bad apples, and you can't tell the good ones from the bad ones, even though you know there are plenty of good apples. And for some reason, the system has no way of finding the bad apples until it is already too late. The system is failing you, and although you have neighbors, only some of them are supporting you in your struggle. The ones that aren't supporting you don't see your reality or even attempt to do something as simple as speaking up to make sure the apples that they are receiving are the same apples that everyone else is receiving. You're scared at this point. You may end up encountering a bad apple, and that brings you fear. You don't want to get sick, you don't want to get hurt. Eventually, you stop trusting the apple company. You stop trusting the store, and you stop trusting the people who assured you that a change would be made and that you would be taken care of. You have been failed by a system that was supposed to protect you, and although you know it has not failed everyone, you are emotionally exhausted at the pain it has put you through. Some of your neighbors see that, and although they haven't had the same experience, they recognize that the experience that you have had with a few bad apples is a tough one, and they support you. And then sadly, some of your neighbors, they refuse to even think about the fact that the system that they love and has always treated them well has failed somebody else. And this becomes generational. You tell your kids, you tell your friends, you tell your family. It all trickles down. The system has failed you, and you don't want it to fail anyone else. You stop trusting the store, the company, the apples. The store, the company, the apples, they do not make any attempt to be better or to show you what they are doing to be better, and so you become divided. That division lasts for generations and continues to trickle down from there. And so although it's just a few bad apples is all it takes to ruin the bunch. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. I know that's not a perfect metaphor, but I hope you can see the point that I'm trying to make here. We have generational pain. And sadly, our generational pain isn't as simple as being fixed by the logic of knowing that it's just a few bad apples. It's an exhaustion at a system that has failed multiple individuals on a consistent basis. And we also need to recognize that we have more generational pain on the way. There are kids living in cages. There are kids living in poverty. There are kids who are suffering from abuse. There are kids who have lost their parents to violence. This pain is going to grow up, and it's going to be part of the struggles of the next generation. Our job for our children should be to ensure that they have less battles to fight than we did. Our responsibilities, not as Americans, but our responsibilities as human beings, is to leave things better than the way we found them. Each of us has inherited something. Some of us have inherited pain. It's our job to do our best to not pass that pain down further. Some of us have inherited privilege. It's our job to do our best to use that privilege to help those who may not possess it. All of us have inherited systems that are broken or damaged. And so it is on us to repair, to break these cycles, and to make tomorrow better than today. And so, as I said, I'm not seeing a lot of solutions in the media these days. So I have come up with 8 solutions that I believe will help us fix what is going on in the world we currently live in. Number 1, stronger community relationships. I think that we need police officers and the community that they serve to be much more in touch with each other. I should know who is serving and protecting my community. I should be able to engage with him or her on social media. I should be able to thank them for keeping my streets safe. I should be able to get pulled over and know, oh, this is Officer Jones, or oh, this is Officer Sarah. They've spent time in my classroom. I've interacted with them on social media. I know that I am not going to be shot and killed by this person from them pulling me over. Ideally, I should never have to think that I hope I'm not going to be shot and killed by this person. But sadly, that's not what our world looks like today. And that is a very real thought and a very real fear and reality that a lot of Americans and Americans of color and people of color are facing in this world today, regardless of whether you have experienced it or not. But a strong community can educate each other in all the right ways. Word of mouth spreads, and community trust can be built. We all need to know the people in our communities, no matter who they are or what their profession is. I look at step 1 as a form of customer service. Community engagement. Buy lemonade from the kids that you see selling lemonade. Say hello to a police officer when you see them on the street. If you're a police officer, engage with the kids you see playing at the park. Take that extra step, go above and beyond to build that relationship. Spend time around people who don't look like you. I know that's not what the world might look like today, but it can be what the world looks like tomorrow. Number 2, create environments where people can express their views in a healthy capacity. Civilized conversations can be few and far between online. We are all very opinionated people, and we are lucky to live in the world in where we are able to form and develop our own opinions. However, we need spaces to comfortably discuss and comfortably disagree. Social media is not the place. Too often, a Facebook comment turns into a hate session or a venting session filled with poor discussion skills. I spent roughly a year of my life holding weekly meetings in a weekly discussion group. On the days when people showed up, healthy conversation occurred. Healthy conversation between men, between women, between young and old, black and white, Republican, Democrat, all and every background. Did I agree with every topic of discussion? No. Did I agree with each person and their viewpoints on whatever we chose to discuss that day? No. But we all showed each other respect each week, and we had beneficial and healthy conversation with people who did not see the world in the same way each of us did. On top of this, I do not believe that blocking people on social media is the answer. I do not and have not blocked anyone on social media for having an opinion that is different than my own. By blocking people, I believe that I separate my ability to see things through their eyes and to see their reality. Do I agree with everything I see? No. But I will not start boxing people off regardless of how I feel about that which they say. If I isolate myself to just those who share the same opinions as me, then I risk becoming the same person as those that I disagree with. When social media gets too much, I take a break. I allow myself to be open to the words of all, regardless of that which we agree upon.